Hey, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did my previous tweet, which was making very precise terrain collisions. So right here, I have an example of a just generated terrain I did in Blender. This terrain is only about 4,000 triangles, which makes it a lot more optimized than the default Roblox terrain, which is really nice if you want to create large scale worlds, but don't want to create them with, the default terrain or just all sorts of parts all over the place. So the first thing you're going to do is just duplicate your terrain and go ahead and hide the original one. Go ahead and go into edit mode for your terrain. And then there's a couple things you want to do. First, you want to set this to individual origins so that every little tile here has its own origin. Now, you're also going to want to do Alt-M, faces by edges, so that each face is individual. You can scale down just a little bit. You got to make sure it's enough so that way Roblox actually detects the changes between the faces. But you don't want to do it too much so that players don't fall between the cracks. This is going to be your collision map. So when you're done with that, go ahead and select it. So you're going to go ahead and go to Export, OBJ. So first thing you want to do is export your first map and make sure that you only export the selected object. This is really, really important. That way you don't export both at once. Otherwise you're going to screw your collisions up. And of course you have your collision map, export, OBJ, and then entitled to. Okay, so once you're in Studio, go ahead and import 3D. First, import your original one. I'm just gonna go ahead and name this terrain, anchored, import using scene position. Okay, just gonna name this terrain because I'm gonna eventually group these together. I'm gonna go to your Hitbox mesh and do the same thing. Okay. I'm going to ungroup this and name this Hitbox. I'm going to go ahead and group these together. It doesn't matter if you do, it doesn't actually change the performance or anything, but it just makes it easier for me to scale up and organize and all that fun stuff. Okay, so your terrain should look like this right now. It probably looks a little bit funky, and that's fine. So go ahead and for both of them, just to fix any shading issues, if you do, you could always turn off cast shadow. You can leave it on. I personally turn it off. Go to your hitbox, set the transparency to 1. Go ahead and set the collision fidelity to precise, convex decomposition. So this helps it be a little bit better about detecting convex areas. Then in your terrain, you want to set can collide to off, can carry to off, and can touch to off. This makes it so that raycast cannot hit the visual part of the terrain. And of course, you can change the rest of your stuff to whatever you would like to make it look like a terrain. Once you play, assuming that these are both anchored, your terrain should be functional. The raycast for it should also be functional. So for example, if I open up a tree generator plugin and just go ahead and mess with those settings, I can go through and just generate all these trees that are not floating, like so. So yeah, that's how you create very precise terrain collisions, and this works for all other meshes. Good luck with your terrain.